Hi, I'm Ben, an average Ben. Just graduated and I'm feeling lost. Everyone else is moving forward. Imran is going to UK to further his studies. BJ found a job at a bubble tea shop. And Ming is engaged to his girlfriend. People seem to be moving on with life, but I'm going nowhere, doing nothing. But my inner voice tells me I'm worth something. Being average doesn't make me a mediocre. I can paint my life meaningfully and colorfully. I have thought of doing something for Mother Earth. I even thought of cleaning up the house of Ama Sugyo staying next door. And I thought, I wonder, will I be able to do meaningful stuff with a group of like-minded people? Be truthful to your own. For being truthful, we gain strength and courage. Remember, alone, we are weak, but together, we are strong. Remember, you are not alone. We are not alone.
Humanistic Youth Center. Before we begin the session proper, I would like to address some housekeeping rules. I would like to inform the audience that we will mute all of you throughout the session. At the end of the session, we will be taking a group photo and we encourage you to join us for the photo taking. Today, we will be discussing about fashion. And if you notice, there's a question mark behind the title. Today's trend, tomorrow's trash. So have you ever wondered how fashion and aesthetic expression of footwear, clothing, lifestyle, makeup, and perhaps your hairstyle has created detrimental impacts to our environment? But the truth is, the fashion industry accounts for around 10% of global carbon emission and around 20% of water waste. Today, we are very honored to have our two speakers from the retail and fashion industry and our very own Tzu Chi volunteer to share with us on the topic. Our moderator today, Ms. Susan Tan, served as volunteer at Tzu Chi Foundation Singapore branch since 1996. One of her latest work involved in revamping Tzu Chi Recycling Center into Eco-Awareness Education Center, serving to educate the right culture and mindset on environmental protection. This year, she converted her passion to full-time work, serving as Environmental Sustainability Manager at Tzu Chi Foundation. She's now leading 38 recycling points and one Eco-Awareness Center, which involves 1,006 to 2,000 volunteers monthly. I would now like to invite our speaker and moderator, Sister Susan Tan and Mr. Ray Pulpit on stage.
Thank you, Wen-Xin, for opening this session for us. As the topic says today, today's trend, tomorrow trash. I don't know how trendy is this topic actually, but it sounds trendy because it has the word trend. So we are very honored today. We have invited a few panelists to join us on this webinar session, who will share from their different expertise or different experience with regards to this topic on fashion. I would believe that this is this slogan is getting more obvious to the youth, especially. So I count on panelists to actually share their lights, shed some more lights into this topic, and let's bring more awareness to this fashion industry. So today, our first panelist, thank you, Ray, for coming on site with us here so we can see each other face to face. I really appreciate that. So Ray will be our first panelist. Ray is actually a fashion designer, and he actually is on a mission to advance sustainable fashion in Singapore and beyond. For me, as an environmentalist for so many years, I'm actually very, very glad to see you coming out with this initiative. Swapping our clothes. I mean, there has been so many talks about swapping clothes, how we can share the resources. Sometimes we don't have a choice. We need to buy new clothes because we outgrown it. But we don't know what to do and they're still in good condition. So your initiative actually give, I think, the younger generation much more opportunity into that. Without further ado, I will invite you to share more about what the works you do and how it means for us and how we can also participate in that. Ray, please.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. So hi, everyone. Good afternoon. And it's an honor to be here to share my journey in the sustainable fashion and to be in the fashion industry. So let me just try this. Okay. So fashion. Fashion is something that is not unfamiliar to all of us. We are all part of it, even if you're not working in the fashion industry, because we all wear clothes. And when we say fashion, what comes to our mind first is the glitz and glamour. That's something that is presented to us through social media, television, and other forms of media. So when we say fashion, that's always been about the red carpet, the celebrities that we admire when they're dressing up with our favorite designers and in those glamorous and beautiful clothes. And of course, we have the fashion runway and the magazines that we scan through if we would want to get inspiration on like clothes that we would want to use for a specific event. If we are attending an event, like now it's not happening, but hopefully anytime soon it will be. And of course, now with the rise of social media, particularly with TikTok. So we have been influenced with a lot of people that we admire and get inspiration from them. And that's what fashion is all about. It's something that is fun, exciting, and to be honest, those were the reasons as well why I got into the fashion industry. And I've always wanted to be part of that eclectic, strong voices who decides what would be the next trend, what would be the next color in the fashion industry or the next design. So I wanted to be part of that. That's why I immersed myself in the fashion industry and really tried to learn the tricks and the business of fashion. There was at some point I was part of all the fashion events in Singapore, mostly doing the behind the scene to really like learn and build the network that I need for me to establish my own brand, because that was the goal, to be a fashion designer, which I did at some point. I was having my own line, and it was exciting because I get to conceptualize fashion shows, designs, and also meeting a lot of amazing people, like be it clients or other brands as well. So the perception that I had in the fashion industry was really was I was experiencing it, and it was thrilling. And at some point, that was the industry that I really wanted to be in. Until a few months of me doing my own line, it came to a point that there was a deeper question in myself of like, yes, fashion industry is really fun and exciting, but it was not really fulfilling the impact and meaningful in my work. Not saying that being a fashion designer is not something that is meaningful and impactful, because you're kind of empowering the people who wears your clothes. But for me, there was a missing part. And that's where I started to question, what else can I do in the fashion industry? And that year, there were a lot of negative publicity in the fashion industry, like the Rana Plaza, about garment workers, where there's a lot of people died because of the collapse of the building. And then it got me thinking of like, okay, so there is an opportunity for me to learn more what fashion is, because most of us know the facade of fashion industry, which is the glitz and glam, the exciting part of it, but none of us are really aware of what's happening behind the curtain. And for me to be in the fashion industry and learning that there's a lot more things to discover behind the curtain was just um, disappointing, to be in an industry where we would want to empower and build positivity in the whole community. It's actually is damaging. So with that research and with that longing to really create an impact of my work, I discovered that fashion is actually one of the most polluting industry, as what is mentioned a while ago, that fashion is actually a contributor about 10% of the carbon emission, which is bigger than international flights and maritime combined. And it's 20% polluting, 20% that is contributing to the water pollution. And now we have increased tremendously the production of our clothes, which is about 150 billion a year compared to like 10 years ago. So having had that knowledge and information, and not to forget the social aspect to it, which is like an example in Bangladesh, the garment workers are earning less than $100 a month. And it's about 30% for them to live a decent life. So a fashion industry, which is about 1.3 trillion revenue a year, how come we cannot pay the people behind who's making our clothes? It was just so ironic to be in that industry where, again, the facade is like, yes, empowerment and building confidence, but behind that, there are people who are suffering. And not just the people, but also the planet. So that was for me the biggest aha moment for me to question myself of like, what does really fashion is teaching us, for myself at least. So it came to a point of like, okay, when we are in a generation, it's not our fault that fast fashion is thriving, and it is the way it is now. But is it teaching us to devalue the real meaning of clothes? Yes, it is very affordable and convenient to buy clothes now. It's just one click in our smartphone, and on the next day, it's in our doorstep. And we don't question that this $5, why is this $5 t-shirt? And what is it really doing to the environment and to the people who produce it? So we are devaluing what true meaning of the clothes to us. At the same time, it becomes disengaging because we treat the clothes now as a very transactional, where I put my hard-earned money and then I get the product, that's it. And there's no more relationship. If, for example, my t-shirt, there's a missing button, I don't dare to repair it because it's anyway $5. I can afford And my engagement to the clothes that I have is very utilitarian. There's no more relationship that we're trying to build. And lastly, fashion has become two-sided, which is one, again, the facade that we're building, which is the glitz and glam, and the other side, really, which not everyone is well aware. Good thing that, you know, the presence of social media and the mainstream media is talking about it already. So more and more people are becoming aware of what's happening in the fashion industry. Hence, we're having this talk. And hence, we are having Fashion Pulpit as one of the platform to address different problems in the fashion industry. So that was really for me the question of like, if I would want to be part of the fashion industry, should I be part of the problem or of the solution? So when that question is, because I still enjoyed working in the fashion industry for sure, but I don't want to be part of that problem. So what I did, it was kind of disappointing because it was just, I was new in the fashion industry. I was trying to build my name. I was trying to build networks. And knowing all this information, I have to then again create a new way to be part of the industry, which was like scary because I didn't know about so much of sustainability, the issues that we are actually facing in the fashion industry. And for me to transition from being a designer to now something that I can be part of a solution. And I started as a building a nonprofit organization which was focused on spreading awareness, because for me, at least in Singapore, there are no garment workers much, or garment factories that we can see. And what we have here is the consumption and textile problem. And having had no experience or first-hand experience in terms of like seeing what's happening in the fashion industry, we only see like the last part of the fashion industry here, which is the consumption. The informations that I had during my research at the same time, the people that I talked to who are engaged in the sustainable fashion scene changed the way I see fashion industry. And the reason why I choose to have the nonprofit, which is focused more on education, because I was hoping to, when I spread the awareness and the information is available to everyone, it would somehow change their perspective about how they deal with the fashion industry as well. So that was the aim. And I was running it for about 2 years. We've organized a lot of panel discussions like this, documentary screenings where we shed different issues, shed lights to the different issues in the fashion industry. And within the 2 years, we were actually forming a small group of people who are concerned and wanting to do more than spreading awareness. Because yes, awareness and education is a big, it plays a vital role in changing the mindset, because you cannot teach people to buy a quality item or a more expensive item without knowing why. They may say yes, but it's not going to be sustainable in the long run. You need to educate them why we need to have a better quality clothes, at the same time spend more money with the things that we buy. So having said that, the next question was like, okay, we know what we know now. What would be the tangible action that we can do for us to really be part of that solution? And again, here, we don't have garment workers and factories where we see the direct effect of the fashion industry. What we have here is the consumption. So the next plan was really, it was very organic. And I had a friend who experienced a clothes swapping in the US. And we were just like discussing, okay, what can we do in Singapore? Should we try clothes swapping? It's never been heard, but there were a couple of groups. I mean, swapping is not new to everyone. At some point, we've swapped clothes with our siblings or with our friends, but if it was never done in community scale. So we wanted to do like, okay, why not try clothes swapping? So we organized the very first one about 6 years ago, 2015, in National Design Center, which was an outdoor. It was very hot. We have about 30 to 50 people who attended, and we have seen the positive response. And it was fun, and we kind of saw like, okay, this can be a solution for us having this clothes. That's what you've mentioned, that we have clothes that are still in good condition. We have outgrown them. It may not be our style anymore or not our size anymore, but I'm sure some people would want to have them. And that's the reason why we created the whole clothes swapping event. At first, it was a pop-up event. We were doing it almost every other month. And we are so lucky to have really good partners who provide us space and volunteers who make things happen, because pop-up events for clothes swapping is a lot of work. Like, because we did a lot of curation, and the main objective really was to present a more retail and boutique experience, because there's a lot also of negative conception of secondhand. So we wanted to erase that and address that problem by giving them a pleasant experience of swapping, of acquiring clothes, even if it's secondhand. So that was the main objective. And fast forward to now, we have a permanent shop, because we saw that everyone, I mean, the swapping can really be part of the lifestyle. And it's also through the feedbacks of the people who were doing it that they see that it can be a way for them to really acquire the clothes. Not so much of like the conventional way of like just buying and getting the product, that's it. Now, the consumer are becoming more savvy in terms of getting or how they can get clothes. So there's rental, subscription, and now swapping. So within the span of 2 years, when we had the permanent store, we have at least saved 75,000 fashion items. And if you're swapping, for those who are wondering what the swap does in terms of the environmental impacts and social. So if you are swapping a cotton t-shirt, you're actually saving about 2,700 liters of water, which is equivalent to drinking water of an average person for 2.5 years. And if you are prolonging the lifespan of the clothes, using it for about 50 times instead of 5 times or 1 time, you are decreasing your carbon emission by about 400%. So that's really what does fashion. We didn't know that these numbers before. Like the main objective of fashion, of clothes swapping, when we were organizing it, was really just to provide a platform for us to acquire clothes in a better and healthy to the environment, and of course to our wallet as well. So that was the whole objective of why we had the fashion pulpit. It was organic. It was a response to what we see in Singapore, at least. And now we have been talking a lot of organizations and individuals across the globe who are doing clothes swap, which their stories resonates with how we started, and it's really a community of us sharing how can we do it, how can even scaling the whole idea so more and more people can be part of that solution. Because swapping, regardless of where you stand, being a fashionista or environmentalist, at the end of the day, when you swap, you are actually saving clothes and prolonging the lifespan, and then lessening the textile waste. So with that, yes, sometimes sustainability can be very overwhelming. It's a big word. Sometimes it can be very vague, but I would say really start with yourself and asking what's the value that you stand for, because we're not forcing everyone to swap, and swap is the only solution for us to be sustainable moving forward. It is one of the solutions. It may not be for everyone, but my thing with the whole sustainability movement is really understanding your lifestyle. And from there, you would be able to see what are the adjustments that you will do in order for you to really attain that sustainable lifestyle. And ending with this, one of my favorite quotes from Robert Swan, the greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. So again, we should not be waiting for like the governments, the big companies, the nonprofit organizations to change what the fashion industry is now. As a consumer, we have that vote to the kind of future that we would want to see by, supporting organizations and businesses who are championing the values that they believe in and the whole sustainable movement.
Thank you, Ray. That's very insightful from a fashion designer perspective. And this statement is really, really very valuable, especially coming from you to share to everyone that it's every individual part. I mean, you create the fashion, you create the design, but you're also aware that people should also judge what they really need. And if they really have no choice, you even create a solution as one of the alternative solution for them, which is something I think online our audience are very glad to have. So thank you, Ray, for that very insightful coming from fashion designer perspective. So next, as you mentioned, you are on the design part. Then we have the garment maker. Today we are very honored to actually have so-called a producer, a garment producer to actually share their lights, their opinion about this fashion. I think for them is even more in a interesting position to say how to be more sustainable, yet they are actually selling the clothes to everybody. But I'm very sure, and Atika, who is online with us right now, she's from UNIQLO. I believe she will give us very, very good insight from a so-called a fashion producer. What is your values? Every company has its values, and I will believe she'll share some very good values to us that yes, they are here to sell the clothes, but they also want to share a value to you. So she actually in UNIQLO, she has implemented several programs which encompasses UNIQLO 3 main focus pillar, which is people, planet, and community. So let's welcome Atika to actually share and shed her lights of the 3 pillars in her industry. Atika, please.
Thank you. Let me quickly share my screen. Okay, hello everyone, good afternoon. I hope you are still with us at the moment. So maybe let me begin by sharing some of the major challenges that we have seen in the apparel industry. And they are mainly human and animal rights issues, as well as irresponsible chemical use, as well as also clothing waste. Though as a consumer, we may not have any direct relation with the first few issues mentioned. I think clothing waste is definitely something that hits closer to home, which is our topic of discussion for today. So before I share further about the initiatives that we have implemented thus far at UNIQLO, let me share a bit more about who we are and our mission in terms of sustainability. So UNIQLO, we opened our first store in Ube, Yamaguchi, Japan in 1984. And since then, we have expanded and for many. So today we have over 2,000. Today we have over 2,000 stores worldwide. And we are aware that with such an important role to play, and we need to be the company whose business intrinsically benefits the society. So as such, we adopted the sustainability mission statement, unlocking the power of clothing. So as a clothing retail company, we believe that we can turn the power of clothing into a force for good to bring about positive changes. By designing, making, and selling good clothing, we can make the world a better place. So Aiming for harmony, the sustainable stewardship of natural resources, as well as responsible development of human potential. We focus on 3 pillars, which was mentioned earlier: people, planet, as well as community. And for today, let us focus a bit more on planet. So UNIQLO is committed to reduce its environmental impact to achieve a more sustainable business framework, all while offering innovative products that customers can use with confidence. So we believe in lifewear, which is clothing designed to make everyone's life better. It is simple, high quality, it's everyday clothing with a practical sense of beauty, thought with life's needs, and also is always evolving. So at this juncture, I want to emphasize that we are not a fast fashion brand which follow trends. Instead, we design and make clothing which are essential for your everyday life, which are timeless pieces and also can be worn season after season. At UNIQLO, sustainability is not just a concept, but is included in every step of our production. We do not make clothes that are only needed, they are not needed by our customers. So this is why customers' feedback, it's really important for us and is the start point of any product planning. So we listen to their needs and also the challenges that they may face and put them into consideration during these planning stages. We also make it a point to never waste our products. I think this is obvious to many of us here that UNIQLO's product range mainly consists of basic products like Oxford shirts, t-shirts, and jeans, which are basic items in many wardrobes. These are items that are never going to go out of season. So as such, we can continuously sell these products season after season. Also, we see the importance of a circular production model of the clothes that we produce. We do not stop taking responsibility for the clothes we produce after they have been purchased by our customers. Instead, we feel a responsibility to provide our customers with options for recycling or reuse. As a lot of thought was put into making a quality item, we can still provide these secondhand pieces a new life. So be it for someone else or for a new purpose. As such, these are our 2 key initiatives at reducing our environmental footprint in the product making process. So one is our sustainable material sourcing and production process. And number 2 is our recycling program, recently reintroduced as UNIQLO. So in the first half of 2020, we launched our Dry EX polo shirt collection. It was the first collection made using recycled polyester. So these polyester, they were made from recycling PET bottles. And through this project, we recycled 8 million PET bottles in total to create the fabric needed. On top of that, we also reduce CO2 emission by about 2/3 through production process of these polyester chips instead of using virgin materials. In the later part of 2020, we expanded this PET bottle recycling initiative to one of our iconic items, which is our fleece. This is all in the effort to not only just reduce waste, but also to reduce waste and CO2 emissions, but also to reduce the use of virgin materials. Today, we currently are looking at ways to accelerate the use of the recycled materials for other products in our coming seasons, especially now that we have discovered that we have discovered a sustainable way to produce, which is not only good for the environment, but it is at the same time, it can also provide our customers with products of the same high quality and at an affordable price. So another item aside from Dry EX Polo and our fleece jackets, we also try to improve the production process of our jeans. Jeans is a key item for UNIQLO Lifewear, it is one of the basic pieces of clothing that almost everyone has in their wardrobe. And as such, it is important for us to keep innovating every day. So we have set up a research and development facility in Los Angeles called the Jeans Innovation Center, where our Blue Cycle project kickstarted from back in 2018. So at this center, the team reviews the entire production process, and through the use of improved technology, we have successfully removed the use of water by 99%, which is a huge step towards reducing our environmental footprint. Instead of water, we replace them with technology like ozone washing machines, nanobubbles, and also other sustainable materials like eco stones to achieve the same worn-out look that people look out for in their jeans. So now with this new technology, we have eco-friendly jeans made with exceptional quality. And this is just the start. We are constantly reviewing our production processes and finding out new ways of developing new materials to reduce our environmental burden. We are working on realizing our goal at making the world a better place season by season. The next program that we have implemented in all stores is the Re-UNIQLO initiative, which is our effort at building a circular economy for the product that we make. We do not see your old UNIQLO items as waste. Instead, we see them as potential to become something better, something more useful. So globally, we started this program since 2006 and have been collecting used clothing from our customers all over the world. So these clothing items collected, they will be sorted out into different product categories like tops and bottoms and winter and summer pieces to meet the needs of our beneficiaries. So our priority is always to reuse these items to the others in need within the community. Those items which unfortunately are not suitable for redistribution will then be sent for recycling to regenerate into new products. One example of our redistribution projects is the reuse of our old UNIQLO items donated by the customers through our partnership with UNHCR. With their help, we have donated more than 41 million items since we started. So on top of that, we also have a new project which we started for recycling efforts of our old UNIQLO products, which is the Down Recycling Initiative. So we believe that the most sustainable way for the future of our business is moving forward is to adopt a circular business model. So maybe the term circular business model is something new for some of us here. So basically what it is that it's an economic system which minimizes waste and recycles them as new resources. So it aims to change to make, sell, collect, and recycle when it comes to the production of garments. So this new economic model is seen as ideal because it enables the business to minimize the environmental impact while keeping the economic growth. So to realize this model, we need technology development, such as improved recycling technologies and recovery methods. And as such, UNIQLO has worked with partner factories to develop new technologies to achieve this circular system. And the first project being our Down Recycling Initiative. So back in 2019, over 600,000 pieces of old UNIQLO down were collected in all of Japan and used for down recycling project. So this initiative has since been expanded all over the world to our the rest of our stores. So basically, the recycling of down involves two main processes. One is the separation of down and feathers from the product, and the other is to wash. I shall not get too technical into this, but basically with this new system, we are able to, the separation process can become 50 times faster than manual labor. And this enables us to produce in a scale big enough on our business level, to fit our business level. So after this separation process is completed, the down and the feathers, they go through a special washing process, which enables us to produce clean, recycled down and feathers, which are as good as the virgin materials. So this is how we ensure that even though the item is recycled, we ensure that the quality is still there. So this is the new look of our recycled down product. It is versatile and genderless. So, and it's still as good as a new product produced with virgin materials. So finally, aside from production processes, we are also looking at improving other aspects of our business. So since March 2020, we introduced paper shopping bags to replace our plastic shopping bags in the stores. We also introduced our own eco bags to encourage customers to bring their own bag during their shopping trips. And aside from that, we are also constantly looking at ways to improve our business processes and for ways to reduce our environmental impact. So in entirety, to close off, just want to share that we at UNIQLO, we realized that we need to start making changes and improvements to our current business practices. Though we have made some significant progress in reducing our impact on the environment, there is still a lot of room to improve. And in order to move forward, it is also important to realize that we need to become a company that intrinsically wants to benefit society. And one important thing to note is that if you choose to ignore this fact, we will unfortunately be left behind. So also, however, we cannot just depend on businesses to improve the situation. As consumers, we also have a part to play in the ecosystem. So only you can make the choice and influence a change in the industry. So I think this is one of the important things to take note. I think we may have run out of time. So with that, I think I'll pass back the time to Suzanne. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Atika. That is very insightful. What we don't, as a consumer, see behind the curtain of a producer. Yes, here you also highlight the change starts from you. Same for Ray. Everybody does recognize it's the you. So the you is you in your own profession, you in your own capacity. So Ray just now has shared you as a designer. Now, Adika, you have shared yourself as a producer. So I think every one of us in our different position has a different way or different role or contribution we can do towards this sustainability in fashion. So it's very nice to see that behind the scene, I mean, a lot of consumer like myself, when we go to UNIQLO, we see that nice piece of clothes that you are putting on your shelf to sell. But we actually didn't really know behind the scene, you have put so much thoughts into how to reuse, recycle, or even the packaging, and even investing in technology, how we can recycle back. Like just now what you mentioned, the down recycle system, which I think today for our audience, this is really behind the scene into your home base, whereby you start opening up and let us see that we also can be, as a responsible consumer, also know who we are buying for and what they're doing behind the scene in a contribution back to the environment. Thank you very much, Adika. That is very, very insightful for most of us. So now we move on to our next panelist, which is Xiao Yan. She's also joining us online. Xiao Yan is Tzu Chi volunteer. She started volunteering in Tzu Chi since 2014. In fact, she is one of the district eco volunteer in Tzu Chi, whereby she is leading a team of volunteers in the community space. So just now, both of you come from a very professional industrial background, and Xiao Yan is coming into a community background, whereby she is very heavily involved in the community to advocate environment practices in daily life. And she does believe that protecting the environment starts with individual efforts. Again, it's a you, and it's a you for her in the individual person, and her lifestyle is adjusted accordingly. So she wished to coexist with the earth by maintaining a sustainable eco lifestyle and reduce the damage to our one and only Mother Earth. Let's invite Xiao Yan to share from her as a consumer, as an individual, her way of having a sustainable lifestyle with regards towards fashion. Xiao Yan, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone, I'm sharing my screen now. Okay. I would like to share my journey in one of my previous hobby. Okay, in the past, like before I become more environmental aware, shopping was my hobby actually. Is during weekend, okay, for sure, I will go somewhere to buy something like clothing or apparels, or after work, okay, or even great sales, okay, that's my keyword, great sales coming, okay, I must go, but I'm not sure actually what I'm looking for. I just feel that I must be part of it. Yeah, this was the way that I lead my lifestyle, okay. So eventually I was pulled into the whirlpool of desires. What happened, like from starting from buying the essential until I don't know what I'm buying. Eventually I just see that whatever is going happen outside there, like any design clothing or apparel, that I find it is like a nice design, I would like to buy, just planning like I must get that piece and bring back home. So one of my examples, the classic one, right? There was one time I went for a trip holiday to the beach. Then it was a 5-day, 4 nights holiday. So I bought 4 pieces of swimwear, okay, just to fit into that 5 days, 4 nights trip. One set of swimwear I will wear just for the sake of photo. So that is one of the worst example I had. Okay. Then what happened to me now is I'm changing my lifestyle from the past. Okay, you can see that the 3-door wardrobe. Actually, I have more than that. Okay, I have another one storeroom with a big boxes, stack of big boxes. Inside are all clothing, including all these 3 wardrobe, which is when you open, it's all pile of clothing inside. Okay, plus all the apparels. And now to the right side, change to the simple one, just 2-door, actually quite small. And I segregate a lot, okay, I segmented my clothing. So now my space is only left this part. Okay, what happened, like what caused me to change actually, even I spend so much time in shopping, getting all the things that maybe for that few seconds that I think I love, I bring back home, but actually I don't feel the joy afterwards. I just feel emptiness and lots of things piling at home. So eventually I tried to go for volunteering, and Tzu Chi Foundation, it was one of my choice that time. Okay, I just went joined the volunteering. I had joined home visit to those people in needy. I joined eco volunteering. From there, I realized that my time that I use for shopping and the money I spend for buying, I have better place to use actually. I got better place to spend on them. And I earn lots of free spaces from my houses, from my rooms, okay, without all these clutters. So during eco volunteering, okay, what we learn here is talking about sustainability at source. Sustainability at source is talking about we are trying to reduce from the starting. So I'm thinking that my previous thoughts that I just buy maybe, let's say, when the fashion or the trend over, or let's say maybe I mean the clothes cannot fit me anymore. Maybe I just think of donating. Okay, donating, there are lots of Singapore places that can donate. Okay, that was my first thought. Or maybe just giving away to someone needed. Is that a solution? Actually, I realized that no, sustainability at source, the explanation is not. The first 2 options there is not really solving the problem when I'm talking about my goal is to more living a minimal lifestyle and coexist with the earth. Okay. Eventually, I realized that reduced purchases is the one that can help me to solve the problem I'm facing now. it's easy to say, okay, but we know that between wish and need is like a war process time. For previous shopaholic style of mine, I feel that it's a challenge to stop myself to buy. Okay, so actually there's I have a series of the way I thought start from the beginning, right? In Tzu Chi Foundation, we always share with all the publics that how we use as a consumer, we have the right to think about before we make the purchase decision. So for my side, when I'm talking about apparels, right, it should be something essential. So I wouldn't say that I totally refuse apparel because I still need to wear, but I can refuse apparels that unnecessary one. Example that, for example, I had a wedding, so there's a family weddings, so I need to attend. In the past, what my first choice is, I would buy a gown, okay, but after be more environmental aware, I think I should rent a gown instead of buy. Okay, then I have company D&D as well. Instead of buying the clothing that to fit the particular D&D topic, I will change it to just repurpose what I have, the clothing I have on hand, and just to fit it into the D&D topics. So after that, I will reduce the clothing that normally I buy, essential, but normally like I must ask myself, how many clothing actually I need? I only have one body. So actually in the past, I would just see that, maybe I like this, I like this, oh, this one fit me, oh, that one nice quality, but is it concern? It's not my concern, right? There are so many things in the market that keep coming out, new, good quality, but actually how much I need. I learned to more appreciate everything I have now, more contented. So nowadays, when I see a clothing, right, I need to think a lot, like, how is it coming from? What's the process? What's the material it used? And later, how am I going to recycle it one day? Let's say I cannot wear it or it's already end of its lifespan anymore. Will it cause a burden to the earth? And the end one is recycle. During the recycling, volunteering at recycling point, there was one time actually, I really feel very surprised. Within 3 hours, our recycling point operation, at one of the recycling point, within 3 hours, we collected 300 kg of clothing, just one point. Imagine that we got 38 points of eco points, right? Can you imagine that? How about the rest of the point? Easily one day we can reach 1 tons of clothing that people donated. So donation or the clothing is no longer a solution anymore. And clothing actually is number 2 waste after plastic. Okay, so we understand that, and by that time I understand that the impact's really, really very huge. And I will repair those clothing one, for example, and those that rubber already worn out, I change myself, okay, button all this, okay. I'm not good in sewing, but I will try to find a way for them, okay, instead of just toss them out or toss them for donation, because I feel pity for them. Okay, they comes, it's a hard time for them to come from the source until to my hand, and when I'm going to send them off, what is the best way for me to send them off? Okay, these are the list of things I will consider. I'm learning more conscious to myself, like actually what I'm buying this. Is this for wear just to let everybody think that, oh, you got a very nice clothing, wow, this is the latest design. Is this what I want? Or actually I'm looking for something that more essential. Okay, shopping rules, when before I buy, I will see something that, do I did have this similar pieces in a wardrobe? Okay, what I need to buy actually this time to prevent me overbuy. I will do online review as well. Okay, normally I will choose something that timeless, classic, simple. So like 5 years later, I wear it, no issue as well. Packaging, my materials is one of my consideration as well. Okay, I will try to avoid. I would prefer those that is more environmental friendly packaging. And other than this, I will join the groups that sharing the same ideas as well. Like we learn like how to prolong our lifespan of our apparels. In the end, what I gain for, I realized that in the past, I worked so hard, I earned my salary, then I changed to a pile of apparels. That in the end, sometimes I got no space, I toss them out to somewhere that I think that, oh, it's good for donation, but is it really serve their purpose in the end? I don't know. It's out of my control. And now I change my time. Okay, I earn the money, I spend my time instead of going shopping blindly. I am using my quality time to do something like using some of my time to contribute to the society, doing the participate in eco-volunteerism as well. So this is the end of one of the Jingsi aphorism. No matter that how materially we are rich, no matter how materially rich we are, if we have endless wants and desire, we will have endless suffering. I think that this particular aphorism is really close to me, but I have endless of wants and desire I want to buy, but it didn't bring me joy. It bring me tiredness, spend lots of time, and use lots of my precious space. In Singapore, we always say that space is money, but eventually what is the space I'm using? I'm using it to store off lots of my stuff. Okay, but when I simplify my wants, okay, and then I don't have so much desire. I don't feel so burdened anymore. I feel like more joy, I have more quality time to do what I really like and more impact. So yeah, this is my sharing today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Xiaoyan, for sharing her opinion from herself. Just now I hear one interesting word. It catch my ear. I don't know how it catch others. He says shopping can be very tiring. For her, in her term, she says shopping can be tiring. Seriously, sometimes we can go and reflect. Just because we want to buy, we feel that we should have one more set of fashion just because of the wish, then you're like combing the window shopping from one window to another shop window. It can actually be quite tiring, which is quite true. I was quite glad also to hear her say that after she knew more about the resources that's involved and this producing a so-called a apparel, she actually did link back to the earlier two panelists, like Ray just now you shared about the garment workers. Atika, you shared how much effort was put into to produce those clothes in a more sustainable way. And just now I heard her saying that when she want to actually like get rid or dispose of one apparel, which is still maybe wearable or just a little bit of defect, she actually leaned back to the hard work of you, the fashion designer, and the fashion producer, your effort in front, and she makes sure that the effort you have put in a sustainable way in each of your position, that piece of apparel goes another few more miles to make it more valuable and less burden on Mother Earth, which is very complimentary. If all of us take a little bit more mindful of us wanting to get rid of that piece of apparel, I think this little bit more action on mindfulness would definitely help a lot. I strongly would believe Ray and Atika will appreciate your customer treasuring that piece of apparel that is in their hand, really like with a lot of love and affinity that they can't let go until it is really up to your effort. Yeah, so thank you the three panelists sharing from their different perspective and position. And I think now we move into the Q&A session, which the online audience actually has put in their questions during registration. We shall now start with the first questions that we have gathered from the participant online. Question one is how to promote upcycling of old clothes to the young generation. And for this question, we'd like to first invite Ray to share your opinion or in response to this question.
Yes. So upcycling, it's the new word that everyone is going crazy about how to be sustainable. Just last year, it was again through the TikTok social media that blew up the whole upcycling movement. They called it thrift flip. So where everyone tries to buy something from a thrift shop and then they convert it to something that's new. So like, for example, a dress to like a skirt. So it really is catching up in terms of the whole concept concept of what else can we do with the old items that we have, it is a good thing because we become more creative in a way of how we can dispose clothes and how we can prolong the lifespan of the clothes. But it becomes tricky as well, because when we say upcycling, it needs to have a certain skills to for you to perform the way of how you would want to or save the clothes. And not, sadly, not everyone has that background to be able to do it. So I would say, to encourage the younger generation to upcycle, maybe we can start by repairing. You know, you don't have to throw the clothes that you have with a missing button just because you don't know how to sew. You can learn how to do hand stitching, and from there you will be able to learn the basic skills and goes to a more complicated way on how you can upcycle. It's a good thing, but we need to understand that it needs a certain skill for us to have a successful upcycling piece, because if we do upcycle things and it turns out not the way we wanted, it would end up as a waste. So we need still to be mindful of the whole concept of upcycling. And of course, I think it also starts with us buying quality items, because if we're not buying quality items, those items cannot be upcycled because the quality will deteriorate very fast, and there's no reason for you to upcycle it.
Yeah, so you encourage a so-called amateur like us to take baby steps. That is already a good step forward, right? Rather taking the big leap and then it maybe just upset the whole intention, and then we may not have that trend in the market anymore that the people want to try to upcycle. Yeah, upcycle, as you said, it has a different definition. It just even repairing, putting back one button is also upcycling. I think this is a good take for us on this on this webinar to actually take these baby steps. Definitely, I would think that if you want something really upcycle to be very fashionable, Ray is the person to go to give you the professional help. So, Antika, maybe also with your profession, maybe you like to say something about this question as well.
Like what Ray mentioned, I think upcycling is kind of a tricky concept. It's, if you know how to do it, then it can result in something successful, like you successfully upcycle something. But if you don't know the know-hows, then it might only result in more waste. So yeah, like what has been mentioned, I think baby steps here is the most important for amateurs like us. I think that's one of the, is a start to relook into how we manage our clothing.
Yes, thank you, Adhika. Maybe now we can move to question 2. This question is how to make your clothes last longer, and we like to ask the producer, Andika, any suggestion for our audience how to make their clothes last longer?
Actually, generally speaking, the way you wash your clothes is it plays an important role. If I may speak for UNIQLO, for instance, our jeans, in order to maintain the washed out look of this product, it is actually recommended to wash the item only after a few wears. So you can consider spot cleaning in between washes. Other than that, it's also always recommended to wash your clothes in low temperatures to avoid shrinkage. And also, I think the way you store your clothes also play a part. For example, items like knitwear, it is better if you store them folded instead of hanging, in order to maintain the shape of the product. So it's as basic as washing, like how you wash your clothes in order to make it last longer. Yeah, that's my response to that.
Okay. Ray, you have any opinion on this to add on?
sorry. Yeah, I think just to echo what Atika has mentioned, I was not raised to check the labels when we buy clothes, and most of us don't do that. So I think this is one way to really help your clothes last longer, is really reading the labels will teach you how to properly wash it. At the same time, also would tell you like what kind of material is this, and what Atika's mentioned, is it gonna be good for you to hang it using hangers or fold it. So I think those are just like a few tricks that we need to learn and to adapt for us to have like a longer lasting clothes.
Okay, so you recommend read the labels. Anika recommend be mindful how you wash it. So combine these two together, it will make the clothes last 2 more time, 3 more time. Yeah, strongly do believe that, especially we talk about all this knitted cotton, it really needs special care of how you wash it and how you store it to expand its lifespan. Can we move on to the next question then? Question 3. This question is, where should the change begin? Can we invite Xiaoyan from Tzu Chi to actually start your opinion on this? Any suggestion for the audience?
I always believe that change should start from ourselves. Each of us that we're aware of this, okay, we should know that, like just now, I see that there's a PPT showing that we can be the problems, or we actually can be the solution. So while we are part of the consumerism, we have two choices: problem or solution. Of course, for the sake of next generation and our immediate, what we are seeing, the earth condition right now, we would prefer to be the solution. So I would believe that change start from ourselves, and from ourselves, we can trigger changes to our family, people around us, our co-worker as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so really the coming from individual is important. Anika, would you have anything to add to this question? Any suggestion from your perspective?
Yeah, I think change, if you want to have any change in the current situation, there has to be improvement in the entire ecosystem, not just by the consumers, but also businesses should also, be aware of their own impact, and how they can use their platform to increase awareness maybe, or inspire change in terms of shopping habits. So ultimately, yes, as an individual, you have a role to play, but also within the bigger picture, within the ecosystem, the other stakeholders also have roles to play as well. So it's important for everyone to work together and find ways to improve within their own expertise, within their own boundaries.
Yeah, indeed, everybody has different expertise and background. And Ray, your expertise, any suggestion from your expertise?
I think the two ladies had said it beautifully, what we can do to try to see change. It can be ourselves, and yes, the fashion industry is a very complex industry, and it has one of the longest supply chain. And for us to really see the whole change, it begins with ourselves, and also for the players in the industry. At the same time, the ones who make policies in terms of like what comes out, at the same time what needs to be consumed. So I think we all have different roles to play in this fight to change the whole broken system of the fashion industry.
Yeah, so it's a collective action right from the start of the very first point. Along the way, everybody in your different position until the product reach to end of life, collaboratively in your each position, you do your part to contribute to this, then the change will come further. I think all of us here are here to share awareness and education. I think this is already a very good starting point, whereby we see ourselves collaboratively coming with a common educational point. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What can you do to help? Where can we dispose of used out of fashion clothes that are in good condition? This one is yours, Ray.
Well, if you have clothes that are still in good condition, you can consider swapping. But also, honestly, in terms of us trying to find out what can we do with the used clothes that we have, we can just circulate it among friends and even within the family. So you maximize the whole existence of that clothes. And there's now a lot of organizations who are helping to recycle different types of clothes and for us to be able to extend that lifespan. So there's us and there's Green Collective where they are in Funan. They also collect used clothes, and there's Green Square. So, and there's a couple of organizations that has list down all the different organizations that they can accept clothes. So yeah, you can go check them out and see what else you can do with all the clothes that you have.
And for Anika, I believe just now your sharing has also covered this topic. Do you have any more advice to add on to this question?
Maybe not advice, but maybe sharing of the other places where people can drop off their unwanted clothes. I think a lot of retail brands, not just Uniqlo, we are also running initiatives in the store where we collect back their items, like the old items that you may not want to wear anymore. So just to name a few, I think H&M, Uniqlo. I think recently I saw Zara as well. So I think these are fashion retailers that you can take note of and bring back your old clothes to support their initiative.
Yeah, thank you. And Xiaoyan, do you have any advice for the youth? What can they do to help in this perspective?
Yes, youth can help a lot. Before they purchase, just think further, okay? So to prevent the like impulse buying, okay? So when you reduce your buying, that will reduce a lot that what you need to dispose of. So when you need to dispose is the remember the 5R concept is belong to the bottom one that really create the least impact for the environment. Okay, so when you reduce a lot, not too much actually you need to dispose already. And eventually for those that you need to dispose due to the final after all the efforts you did, okay, finally this one cannot be used. What we can do is you can send to the collection places for donation. But I will say that donation is not the final solution because like we are donating lots of clothing. The rest of the country also the same. It's not only Singapore. So it's not really a solution for donation. So think a lot. Try to refuse and reduce first. These two are. Thank you.
So it's to control impulsive buying, right? Although I'm the moderator, can I add on also? Just now she mentioned about impulsive buying and you mentioned about online shopping. I think Andika is also very familiar with online shopping. UNIQLO also have this function. But allow me as a moderator, maybe share a little bit tips on this online shopping to the youth that regards to impulsive buying. If you are a big online shopper, let's click wish. I wish to buy this clothes. I wish to buy this apparel. Park it in the wish list. Park it in the shopping cart. Come back again 3 days later and see, oh, I wish all this. Do I really need it? That is coming from my own opinion to add on because I heard a lot about the youth mentioning about online shopping is to a certain extent is very addictive. How do they control that? So hearing from the youth about this, I like to share this point. Online shopping, let's try to use the wish list, the shopping cart, keep it there, park it a day, sleep over it a night, to come back again. Do I really need this piece? Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Does cheap clothing necessarily mean easily damaged? Okay. Let's invite Andika to go first.
I think UNIQLO is a great example of proving this statement wrong. at UNIQLO, we continue to sell good quality items at affordable prices. But I understand that price is usually also always related to quality. So at UNIQLO, we are a bit different because we can avoid this as we are able to control the entire production process from planning, production to selling. So, but I also realize that not all retailers are able to do this, are able to do the same, maybe due to the scale of their business scale or other factors. I think here ultimately as a consumer, it is important for us to learn about how the clothing is made, about the business approach, so that we can understand the bigger story and why the item is priced as such, and whether or not in the end we want to, this is a brand that we want to support. Yes. Yeah, I think
indeed.
that's my response.
More studies can be made on the choice of the clothes they are going for to actually support whether is it justifiable buying. Yeah, so as the Q&A session for this webinar is up to this point, last but not least, coming from your own expertise or even on your personal level, let's go one round for a call for action. So much webinar, so much sharing of information, but we really need the real action. So can we start with Ray first? What would you call for action to our youth who is listening to this right now?
Yeah. Aside from stopping, I think one thing that is very important is really asking yourself what's the value that you stand for, because sustainability and the whole talk about climate change can be very overwhelming, especially for a person who has no time to really understand what's happening in the environment and in the society. I think it's always good to start the one value that you stand up for, and once you know that, support the organizations or businesses that also has the same value with you. And once you've mastered that, then you can also cover other values that you would want to stand up for.
Thank you, Ray, for that. Next, can we invite Adhika for your call for action?
I think a lot has been discussed today and a lot of useful information has been shared. But if I may emphasize, I think one of the main key takeaways is that we as the consumers, we have the power to influence a change. So it starts with you asking yourself whether you need the item, whether you can use it for a long time. And if you find yourself wanting to dispose it, think about its alternative uses first in order to maximize the use. It's not about totally removing your fun, edgy style out of your wardrobe, but as a start, it is more about making your choices thoughtfully. Yeah.
Yeah, so regardless of the choices made, it still can be very stylish. That's what I can hear from you. Yeah. And next, can we have Xiaoyan to call for your action?
To the purpose of the clothing, actually, what required is neat and clean. We are not away from fashion. Actually, what's the meaning of fashion for me is representing ourselves to the other people. But what we want to show other people is more than wearing what we wear. It's about more like how we talk, how we act, how we think. So clothing is, in this case, is just part of essential. We can be back to more basic and just everyone rethink about how's the impact of our apparels, lifestyle to the environment. Need to make some adjustment, and where's the adjustment start from is from ourselves, and let's think about using the 5R to adopt into our lifestyle.
Yeah, so style is in its individual definition, but together with your how you present yourself, your so-called mannerism, everything with a simple fashion can also speaks very loud that you're fashionable. So in conclusion, I can say that fashion can be something whereby, as Ray has said, it can be a red carpet thing. So no matter how rich we are, in regardless whatever thing that we're pursuing, be it fashion, be it something that I need to use or whatever. It's a matter of the heart and the mind. So 3 of you have repeated also the same. Are we buying something that we wish to have that is from the heart? Probably the heart trigger faster. We lack of oxygen, the mind come later. Then you give yourself a few seconds, then your brain will start functioning and start analyzing, is this a need? Then you do the purchase. I think that really help by slowing down a bit and looking in the bigger picture that how can I have a nice, fashionable clothes in a very confident way. I think the confidence to carry the apparel is even more important. Thank you, the 3 panelists. And I really also learned a lot, especially from your professional as a designer and as a producer with regards to this topic. And can I hand the floor over back to our host to do the closing for us today?
Thank you, Susan, for bringing us through the session today. It was indeed a fruitful and insightful session. Once again, on behalf of Tzu Chi Humanistic Youth Center, I would like to thank all speakers and companies, especially UNIQLO and the Fashion Pulpit, for your support today. Following today's webinar, we will be organizing an indigo dye workshop, which today's participants, all of you, are entitled to enjoy exclusive discount. So if you are interested in natural dye, stay tuned to our social media platforms to find out more. So that marks the end of our session today. Thank you for your participation, and we hope to see you again at our future event. Have a good day. Thank you.